Hey up guys, welcome back to part number 7 of my 40th scale Tamiya F-14B build. Now in this video we're going to do the decals and the weathering. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome back, and we can get going with some decaling. And as you can see, I've done some already and done this side. As you can see, no problem at all. Just the only thing is these decals, I'm not sure what goes on here. It's very long and we're going to put pallets on, so I figured I just kind of embedded it in the side there, embedded it down with some decal solution. But yeah, not sure that's correct or not. It should meet in the middle, but anyway, not sure exactly how to get around that one. Also, they seem a little bit big. The slime line's a little bit wider. This guy right here wouldn't fit in between. Should fit in between that one. That's where we're going to put one of the angle attack sensors, I think, or probes, should I say. So I just put that one a little lower. Hey, it's not 100% accurate anyway, so just fits better that way. And yeah, so I've done one side. My note to myself is this one here, this is where you want to hold it all the time. So I'm going to do the whole side and do this one last, because otherwise it kept coming off of my finger. As you can see, the kind of broke off a little bit, but it kind of looks like weathered right now. So I did this yesterday, so it's all fully dry. We're going to run through one decal together, show you my process, and obviously the black stuff I've done early on in the build, the tail. And this guy here, which I think goes this way around, just slots. I don't think you need glue for this, it slots right in. So these guys are done, yeah, obviously done the wings already, and motoring on. So decal solutions, as you know, I've been a big fan the past couple of years of using this stuff. Ultimate Modeling Solutions, strong and extra strong. Now, I've had all kinds of decal problems this year, 2024, as you know, my previous builds. It's not been one, two, well, maybe 3 or 4 builds I've had now, where I've had problems with decals, and followers of the channel know that, you know, over the years, I'm pretty accomplished with decals. I'm pretty good, know what I'm doing and getting down, no problem at all. Now, the cam decals and the propeller were just terrible, but I put these ones down, and once again, they didn't stick. I should talk about these ones. These are mil-spec aftermarket ones, because obviously we're doing a V version. This guy. It just didn't stick. So I pulled out some, this I had, which I believe is really strong, which is Solvaset. Never really used it. And guess what? They bedded down no problem at all. So I'm kind of leaning to the conclusion that maybe these products have gone off. Now, you're not saying don't buy them or anything like that, because I've used them in the past. They did great. But maybe I've had them, probably a couple of years now. And I think everything in life, you know, has an expiry date. And I think they're just, maybe they've gone off. So anyway, so I'm going to go, this is my go-to. For the next couple of builds, I'm going to use this, see how it works. And if it continues to work well for me with this build, other builds, I'll just keep using this and bin the other two. Because maybe it's a product issue, but maybe not. Who knows? Again, I'm not blaming the product. Not saying don't buy it. Just for me, you know, it's worked great for a year or two, and now it's just for some reason it's not working. So maybe, yeah, maybe it's the air or getting into the bottle or evaporating stuff, or who knows what it is. Anyway, kind of waffling right now. So let's do one. So I say this every single build video, and if you haven't bought them already, you need to buy them. The Tamiya decal tweezers. Not only for decals, they're good for moving tape, masking tape, various other things around, but they're absolute game changer. And for like 15, 20 bucks, what they are, they can last you a whole modeling career, your whole lifetime. And they just make it so easy just for picking up paper and moving stuff around. I mean, simple as that, really. So we're going to do one decal together, and super easy. We'll just do a 212 at the front. So I've got some water. I like to use warm water. People, you know, if you like cold water, you do you. But for me, warm water just releases it very quickly. Now, with these mil-spec decals, I did find already, but they do come off the paper really easily anyway. So get my 212. Going to dip it, take it out, put it on a plastic cutting mat, and let it soak. With warm water, most decals normally go with a few seconds. Some decals, such as, I'm trying to think, like Mini Craft, I think that KC135, it took like 10 minutes for it to release off paper. So just be patient, just let it sit. Now these are pretty much instant. But you don't want to go too much and rip the decal. So let it do its thing. You can also leave it a long time, as long as it's a plastic mat which keeps the water above it, doesn't soak the water in. I've left decals for 45 minutes, an hour. Sometimes I've gone out or done something, forgot about it, come back, and they've been absolutely fine, ready to use. Okay, moving on. I always use the power lines to help me guide where I'm going. These are pretty good. Some instructions are woeful, that don't have power lines to show you. This is pretty straightforward. We can see there we're basically going against this power line here. So then I have my own brush, just a little flat brush I use just solely for decals and not painting. Just looking where it's going. It is going pretty much in the middle of this line right here. So I'm just going to put a little water. So that's two things. Firstly, helps to move the thing around once you put it on there. Secondly, it gives me a guide of where I'm going to put the decal. Okay, I'm just going to lift it up and then just slide it over, paper away, and positioning time. So it's going to run, mentioned, some fettling involved now. Now I know these slime lines a lot bigger decals on the actual markings on the kit, so I'm just going to maybe make it a little bit higher so it doesn't impede with that decal. And make sure it's level. It goes, yeah, level with the slime line, so back there. And there we go. I always have tendency to just keep moving it and making it worse. I mean, come back and keep moving this thing around. But simple as that. That's the decal. Now I'm going to let it sit for about 10-15 minutes to stick down, and then I'm just going to come back and just run some solver set over it with a brush. Not too much, just dip it in, run it over it, and let it sit and do its thing. The reason I'm not doing it now is if I do it now, as soon as I touch the brush, it's going to move decal out of position. So I want decal to stick somewhat, so it's not going to move around, and then just dab it with the solver set to bed it in. So that's it. My only other thing with decals, just do a little section at a time. Don't do the whole, put that on and work on the other side. Try to do this one because you're always going to touch it and move it, or stick to your finger and ruin it. So take your time, just do a little section at a time. Let it, do its thing, stick, leave it an hour or so, and then move on to another section and work your way around the aircraft. And then that way, see, I'm holding the back here, and if this was wet, I'd pull off the navy in the back. So there we go. That is the decal process. So I'm just going to pretty much work around here. I've cut them off already. There's not too many decals on this, to be honest with you. There were tons on the wings, like no step, which we've done already, and we're just working the main fuselage. So I'd say there's probably about 30 decals total on this. So I'm going to go ahead and add the decals, and you can come back and see the finished results. It didn't take too long at all just to put those decals down the side. And a couple, just kind of, there's some here, it says on the instructions, which one was it? The intake, jet intake 39 and 27. It basically goes on the inside, so you can see there and there. That's kind of where it goes. It's kind of confusing the instructions there, exactly what the deal was. As you can see, I'm missing the pilot's name for this side. It's going to be able to catapult this side, so it's not such a big deal. I went through all the paper, I just can't find it, and being white, small white decal, white paper, it could have got thrown away or discarded quite easily. Not the end of the day by any means. Everything else seemed to have gone down okay. So again, solver set for this video. Get this guy go. I'm just going to hold it by the wing, so I'm not going to touch anything, and literally just rub it over gently with every single decal. And because I've left this a few minutes here to settle, nothing should move around on me, hopefully. Oh, I'm not even in camera, I apologize. And then, again, not swimming this stuff in here, just dabbing it on. Every decal. And extra in, sorry, I'm having a nightmare. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to focus. Not I'm off camera, so I apologize. But again, this decal here, it kind of wraps around the pylon or whatever. It's put plenty on this guy because it's a big decal. I really want it bed in, especially in this area. I'm actually going to add some more to the other side too. You never really add too much of this stuff. Oh, my masking tape's coming off. I think that's everybody. Oh, I put a couple extra ones on this side. And that is it. So sorry, I couldn't really probably see much of that probably off camera, but basically give everybody a coat of that silver set to let bed in, and now again, put it to the side, just leave it for a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes, because now it's doing its magic again. You don't want accident touching the stuff, so you're going to rip it off or damage the decal. So I put the lid back on so this stuff doesn't go off. And yeah, just waiting game, work on something else on the aircraft, and then we'll come back, do the top section, which isn't very many decals at all. With these black lines to go on around the back by the exhaust too. Yeah, cracking on here. So we'll get those done, and I'll come back and show the finished result. All right, so I think we're in good shape. I think the decals are all on now. The back ones are still drying, but that's that one side. Barely any on the other side. And this side we did yesterday. Now, these black lines are problematic. Now, you see I put the airbags in. I did, the wings can go on top of it, doesn't impede it. So not glue, just literally click in place. And it's supposed to be a continuous black line around here. And for the middle of the navy. But just way the kit decals are, an alignment, where it's supposed to put them, the slime line's in the way. So I had to kind of be a little creative here. This long one here, I had to cut, and I just ran a little bit over the bag, and you can see I put a little bit in the middle. It's supposed to be continuous, as I mentioned. There's gaps in between. Hey, no big deal. I don't care. There's something every I can do. The kit does have some, but they're red, not black. Some schemes don't even have any at all. But I figured doing this, the way I've done it, looks better than not at all, I guess. So I've put them on, just put some sulfur set on to let you see it's still wet, drying. There's a couple decals here and there on the top, nothing really to talk about, but most of it, is down the side here. So we'll see. So I'm gonna let these dry for a little bit longer, maybe another 30 minutes, then I'll hit it with a satin coat all over. Now, satin for two reasons. Firstly, to seal in the decals, and hopefully when we put, we work on top of it, we're not going to remove them. And secondly, it works best for my wash, which I'm going to use, my panel line wash. I have typically used LP9 gloss in the past, but find it just kind of, the panel line wash kind of wipes off too easily. So with satin, it's sat in between where it just kind of holds it in place a little bit better. So I'll probably use the AK Interactive Gen 4. I like to use acrylics for because I use lacquer paints and enamels for washes. I like to use different mediums, so I use acrylic. Mix this with the thinner 50/50. This is obviously the matte. I do find that the matte is actually more of a, I do have the satin as well, which I'll use, but I do find the matte isn't a great dead matte. It does have some sheen to it. It's more of a satin. Now, if you want, I know they still sell this, but if you want a dead matte finish, this stuff is the way to go. Ultra Varnish Matte AK183. Now, same brand, but this stuff is really good for like armor or aircraft, that dead flat finish. And you can brush paint it, or you're supposed to thin it and use it for the airbrush. I just squeeze it straight in the airbrush and spray it neat, and no problem at all. Hose it on, and it gives that really, once it dries, gives a really kind of dead matte finish, which I like. So we'll use this at the very end. But for the meantime, we'll put a satin coat down. And what else? Oh, painted the shooter figure. He actually came out really good in the end. Happy with this one. And used the decals from the kit. So you got the shooter, and so you got some like high-vis stripes on there. They were no problem at all. The helmet, this decal at the back, being Tamiya decals are very thick, it just didn't want to bed down. So I used the old trick of Tamiya extra thin. Now you have to be very, very careful. There's one dab and leave it. Don't touch it, otherwise you can ruin all your paintwork. So decals on place, just quick little dab of glue, left it, and it basically glues the decal on place and goes around that helmet, conforms around the helmet. But yeah, kind of happy how that guy turned out in the end. Just simple painting, little wash, some highlights, nothing too crazy. I'm not the world's best figure painter, so I wouldn't necessarily learn from me. But yeah, looks kind of grimy and how he should be on a deck. And that little pop of color will certainly make a difference on a diorama base. So I'm going to put him on a diorama base right now, out the way. There we go. And we get into some weathering now. So let's start with the wheels. So we got the gear all done, painted, talked about in previous videos, and it's all ready to go. Just want to give it a simple little wash. Now, I'm just going to use one of these. This is a lid from a plastic container, like the little dip, like sauce cups you get. I get like 100 on Amazon for like, I don't know, $6, I think, and they last like a year at least. Now I use it. Look, as you see, I use it for my little paint palette, which works great for my when I painted the shooter figure there. See the yellows and the buffs and stuff. But save waste. I'm gonna use the inside. It makes a perfect place to make a wash. So as always, I'm gonna use my favorite color, which is Abteilung 502 Starship Filth. I think I might be discontinuing this color, so my next round of orders, I might need to get 1 or 2 more of these. Although that being said, I've had this for what, 5 years, if not longer, and you can see I've got more than half a tube left. It's one of those things where see, it may be a little bit expensive, $5 or $6 for an oil paint, but hey, if it lasts 5 years, it's it's a bargain, right? I get the lid back on. There we go. And so you saw how much I'm just making a little wash for this gear, so a little tiny dot, barely anything. And I bring in some enamel thinner. My go-to is the X20 Tamiya with the blue top enamel thinner, not to be confused with X20A, which is acrylic thinner. And again, I've had this, using this for 5 years, and look, I've got half a bottle left still. So another one of those we just last forever. Pipette, I'm just going to drop some in. I don't think I put enough there. My brush, I'm going to mix it up. And I've mentioned this before, the key with this is you want it kind of translucent. And actually it looks pretty good. Yeah, I think it's okay. You want it translucent, and then you're just going to dab it on. Dab it on the wheel, all over the gear. Dab, 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 dab. It adds a really nice kind of grimy effect on there. All right, that one's done. We're going to do this guy now. And you see, barely, I'm not making a ton of this stuff because I don't need it, If it's a little too thick, you can just take some enamel thinner and water it down. Not a problem at all. Okay, actually, I don't remember I did the inside of the wheel. I don't think I did. The rim. And this guy, same deal. Dab, 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 dab. Dab, 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 dab. And what it basically do is it's going to evaporate and stay in. It's going to create some grime for sure, but it's going to stay around, pick out all that panel line detail. Now, there were a couple of decals to go on the bottom of this guy, attaches to the catapult, but decals were so small, it's just not worth my time or effort to put those on. Okay, there we go. That's simple as that. And again, if you think you've gone too far, just clean your brush off, pure enamel thinners, and you can just wipe it down, or you can just get a Q-tip and just brush it away a little bit from some of these areas if you think it's a little bit too heavy. So there's that guy right there. And there we go. That is it. So that's how I wash my wheels. So next up, let me get a clear coat down on the fuselage, the main assembly here. And once it's dry, we'll come back and we'll do a panel line wash. All right, so satin coat down and it's dried. And yeah, ready to put on the first stage of weathering, which would be a panel line wash. Floor models, dark dirt wash. You've seen me use this many times. This is getting towards the end now, so it's getting a little thick. So I did water it down slightly. And I'm just going to pour into a plastic container. And you've seen me do this many times before. I'm just going to basically wipe it on, leave it 20-30 minutes to dry, and wipe it off. And it should stay in all these rivets and panel lines. It should stay in there. Now, for the black areas, I'm going to use the grey. So same thing, but I have the grey color. I actually have about 6 different colors, but dark dirt's the one I use most of the time. So pick an area, and you see it's a little bit watered down. Makes it flow better. And basically the whole area of the aircraft is going to be coated in this stuff. So just smearing it all on. And kind of avoiding the black areas, because like I said, I'm just going to use a different color for that. Pretty straightforward. Make sure I got everywhere covered. And there we go. I'm going to start with the back area first, and then we'll do the rest in different stages. So there we go. And you know what? While I'm at it, I will get the gray. Just going to wipe my brush slightly. And then the gray. It doesn't matter if it overlaps the other color. It's just if I put dark dirt onto the black area, you're just not going to see it. Whereas the gray, you'll see it a little bit better. Like that. Easy. So yeah, let it sit, and 20-30 minutes, we'll come right back and get the thing wiped off. Right, it's been 30 minutes. As you can see, it's kind of dried. So take a paper towel and just break them up little pieces. And if you see, you can get off kind of slowly like that. If you just lick it, a little moisture, it comes right off a lot easier. So I'm basically just going to wipe it all off. And you can see what's below, the panel lines remain intact. I actually probably broke these up too small, to be honest with you. So the paper towels, they could do them a little bit bigger probably. But anyway, just going through here, getting all off. Being careful over these decals, because again, had some decal problems recently. So I want to make sure, they're stuck down. I'm not going to rip them off. And you can see the gray. And there you go. It's down and dirty. I'm going to go through, spend a little bit more time getting rid of more of this stuff. Also the ones where you kind of stuck down the side here, Q-tip, and it wipes right off. And those areas. And again, just going through, cleaning it all off. and simple as that. And so you can see the pound lines here compared to the lower side. It just really does a great job. So this is the first stage of weathering. I'm going to go ahead and do a really good job here, get all this removed, and then I'm going to do the sides and the underside, and I'll come back once I'm finished. All right, so finished all the wash all over. You can see, especially underneath, you see all that detail it's picked out. Really cool. So did the wash, let it dry, well, removed it all, should I say, then gave everybody a good thick coat of my ultra matte varnish. And even though I gave it a pretty good coat, it still has a slight sheen to it. It's not completely dead flat, as you can see in the light here. I could probably do another coat, but actually that's probably more realistic of how it's looking. So did both sides, let it dry, and then because that's our final clear coat, I went ahead and removed the canopy mask, and look how awesome we're looking now. That canopy came out beautifully with a grey wash on the black parts, and the pilot's in there, the Quintus Studios cockpit, just looking really, really cool. Very, very happy with that one. So now what's left to do, sorry, I thought I felt something strange in there. Oh, now what's left to do is give it a quick some neat oils, quick blast with neat oils. Now I'm not going to super crazy like I've done some. Well, maybe I will. We'll see how we go. So using that same little palette from earlier, from the when we did the gear, we take the same Abteilung Starship Filth, and gonna put some in my palette there, and I like to add I just like to add a very tiny little bit of enamel thinner. I'm saying just literally one drop, half a drop if possible, just to kind of thin it out a little bit. And you take one of these micro brushes. Again, AliExpress, you get like 100 for a few bucks. They're for like putting eyelashes on, I think, or make some kind of makeup. Just gonna stir this up a little bit, and it might be too wet, but let's see how we go. And all I'm gonna do is literally run some dots and basically kind of, I'm just gonna be very gentle. This might be, yeah, it might be a little runny now. And then I'm just gonna take my other brush and just basically blend it in. And you can see kind of the effect we're getting. But and it's just gonna grime it up. So this is more like a wash from the paint now. I've added way too much thinner, so I'm gonna fix that in a minute. Let me just, so I'm gonna take a little bit more oil and put it next to it. There we go. Let's see if that works any better. I don't want to do every pound line, so I'm gonna pick some. And you can see a little of this paint goes a long way, so you don't put too much of this on here. And basically just blending it, just run down the power line and blend it in like so, and that's really it. I don't do every single power line, just pick out some of them. And if you feel you've gone too hard on it, just come back with a Q-tip, rub it off, a little bit of enamel thin, and this whole thing will wipe right off. It's gonna take pretty much overnight to dry, and it kind of will mellow out a little bit too. But you can kind of see what we got going on there. So I'll do one more, and then I'll just do the rest off camera. What should we do? Let me do this one right here. Again, just a few little dots of paint. You don't need much at all. I'm just going to run it across the line. And that time I did a lot less paint, and you can see it actually turned out a lot nicer. So there we go. So that's as simple as that. So I'm just going to pick out whole aircraft, pick out certain areas, do this, and then come back and show the final result. All right, so zipped around probably less than 10 minutes and got this result. So a little grimy on top, side. On the side, I didn't do too much because it's going to be on that base, right? You're not going to see really underneath it at all. So I did a little bit, but not much. Actually, I see some. Sorry, I saw some paint on there. You know, a little bit down here, real quick. Okay. So now really, I just want to take the leftover, make a wash, and do wheelbase. So no waste on this. So enamel thinner with my pipette, and we kind of did this earlier, but make it translucent. It's too thick. Some more. And then I'm just going to hit the base. Again, dab, 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 dab. And all the extra accidentally threw everywhere. I'm just going to wipe off a Q-tip. And you see now that detail is picking out too, which is going to look pretty cool. Also, I'm going to hit on the upper side these vents. And I think of that, we're good. So I'm going to quickly clean my brush here. I just want some. This is a lot heavy here, so I'm going to put some more enamel thinners in and just clean this up a little bit. It's too grimy for my liking. So you see how easy it is just get this stuff to come up. And with that, I think we are good. So there we go. That is it. Let it sit. Let me bring it. Well, let me bring one wing at least in, so you can see how we're looking here. And you see we're looking pretty cool. So very happy how this is turning out. This weathering, I mean, you can really go to town and spend hours and hours doing this. This is just a quick down and dirty, kind of show you what I got going on. You can use different colors too. Faded dark yellow is good for like hydraulic stains. But I don't want to go too bananas on this. I'm kind of happy how it's looking. One thing I do need to correct, I did the, back on the wings, I did the dirt on the top, but not the underside. So I just need to repeat that. So obviously, it's both sides will have that kind of staining on. But yeah, let me move this out the way. Actually, I don't want to put a mat because there's a bunch of junk on there, but I'll hold it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're at. Looking really cool. So we basically did a quick weathering, and now we basically got to put everything together. So we have this big box of all these parts ready to go. So this is that reason why I do it, because now later on the build, mojo's waning. Last thing I want to do is, let's sit with the tail on. Last thing I want to do is start building a bunch of missiles and detailing them and stuff. We've done that already, so we're good to go with gravy. So yeah, there we go. Really happy how it's turning out. This one, it's going to look beautiful on the base. So wrap this video up. This is the decal weathering video, and we have one part left, and that one part will be obviously getting this put together. So all this whole box of parts and all the gear I've got, all the pallets and everything, we'll get everything put together and get it mounted on the base, and do the final reveal next time. So next time's going to be the last part. So thank you for watching as always. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. Also, to keep the lights on and keep me doing this kind of stuff, I've got a Patreon channel for those $2 a month. You get early access to all my stuff and exclusive supportive updates and other videos I do as well. So yeah, that's my little sales pitch out of the way. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time.